Why does every big move happen when I'm not in the house? Why does everything happen when I am not in the house? I literally left home for what? This is 2:07 p.m. Literally less than an hour. I left for less than an hour and Dewanna freaking Bonner signs with Indiana. I told you something was happening. I told you if she was going to sign for the Mercury, it would have already happened. I told you guys. I told you, and you guys said no. And for all you was going to be like, oh, we already had the Carrington situation. Dewanna Bonner has said done nothing but praise Caitlin Clark. She's done nothing but praise Caitlin Clark. By the way, the Carrington situation pissed off fans. It did not really piss off Nella Smith. And two, if you guys want to subscribe, be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for all the support recently. If you guys think this is a great move, subscribe. We're trying to hit 42,000, like 200 by the end of the day. Dewanna Bonner has signed for the Indiana Fever, per Alexa Philippou on Twitter. Or Philippou. The Connecticut Sun's entire starting five is gone. Dewanna Bonner has signed for the Fever. The Fever. Champion, like, they have to go into the championship favourites. Like, they actually have to. They have to. By re-signing Kelsey Mitchell and trading for Sophie Cunningham and signing Bonner and Tasha Howard, the Fever have catapulted into the title conversation. They have Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, coming off Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Grace Berger, Damaris Dantas and Katie Lou off the bench. That is their bench five. That is crazy. And then they have a choice. What I would do is, with your second round pick, take Sedona Prince. I don't care about the off the court stuff. Or if Rhea Marshall's there, you take Rhea Marshall there as a big, but if not, you take Sedona Prince for size. As the only thing they're missing is size. Take Sedona Prince. But Dewanna Bonner. This is crazy. Hull, Cunningham, Bonner all play the same position. Both Dewanna Bonner and Sophie Cunningham have the ability to play the 4, the 3, or the 2. All of them are versatile. Dewanna Bonner is 6'4", a lockdown defender, shoots the lights out. They're all versatile. Sophie Cunningham does the same. They are long defending shooters who have the versatility to play in different systems. Yes, Dewanna Bonner can't guard Aja Wilson. But Dewanna Bonner can guard a lot of 4s. They're going to struggle against the Sky size-wise. But in that game, you can afford to play Damaris Dantas and Aaliyah Boston. For me, you need a Rhea Marshall type player with that second round draft pick and then just cutting Victoria Saxon. Victoria Saxon's too small to play at 5. So you need a true 5 off the bench. Like, as good as Damaris Dantas is that she is a slow-footed, she's getting faster, stretch 5. You need a true big, and that's it. That is it. Hull, Cunningham, Bonner all play the same position. Don't forget Katie Lou. Forgot about her. She's probably gone. Lexi and Sophie will get a few minutes at 2. With Kelsey resting, you can see Bonner getting minutes at the 4. Starting 5. Like, Natasha does not play for this team. They can play multiple positions. Like, this is one of the most versatile teams we have seen. Rest of be better to run. Caitlin Clark is tireless. And I'm just saying this. You train Grace Berger to just run. That is your thing. Grace Berger is a big switching a big point guard with switchability. You can't switch everything. But this team, with a good defensive coach, is going to be the best offensive team in WNBA history. You have replaced Nella with Natasha Howard and Lexi Hull with Dewanna with an all-star. You have replaced two players that are iffy at their position. Someone said, all you need is augmentation. On that note, keep an eye out for here Dewanna Bonner. Rebecca Loeb was beating that drum on ESPN's free agency, but we at No Cap are also hearing some rumblings. There's real smoke behind pursuit. Heck, if you want to look at my page, I'm saying this right now. I thought there was a possibility. Where did I say it? Did I say it here? Gonna be interesting to see what happens to Dewanna Bonner. I assume if guarantee she goes to Phoenix, then we'd have already heard the news as soon as not injuries. Alyssa Thomas got traded. Press one type on her. But if the Fever somehow get her, it puts them into top tier contender category. What do you think the odds are? To be honest, I said about 20%. And I said about 1% before the Howard pick Smith trade. Still near a max left. As Cunningham is one of those team friendly contracts in W. She'd be perfect for Indy. Part of me thinks she might want to go there, but seeing what else she can get first. What about a backup center power forward? Why we need Bonner? She can play backup power forward. She's an all-star. Phoenix got like half their roster towards 3 players, likely to retire after 15 seasons, not a good fit for the Fever. Why is she not a good fit for the Fever? Because she's going out with Alyssa Thomas. I'm not, that's literally, like, sorry, as I've said, if the Fever were basing free agency decisions on whose partner has or has not said a bad word about Caitlin Clark, we would have been left with no Caitlin. We would have been left with no Kelsey Mitchell. Aaliyah Boston would have already been traded. And I always said this, we would have traded Kelsey Mitchell for Sophie Cunningham. We got Sophie Cunningham anyway somehow. But Natasha Howard would not have signed. Nalissa Smith would have been gone. Aaliyah Boston would have been shipped off because of what her best friend said. Like, we would have literally been left with a roster of Lexi Hull, Kate Martin. I mean, who else has praised Caitlin Clark in the league? Like, outwardly praised Caitlin Clark. You wouldn't get anybody. And by the way, Alyssa Thomas said nothing about Caitlin Clark. She did call out the Fever fans, but at the same time, like, it is a small subsection of those fans. And I think everyone knows that. Like, when you play, all these people that played in Indiana, all of them, you can tell the game-going fans aren't going to be a factor. Dewanna Bonner is not big on social media. She can just turn it off. Literally, just turn off social media. If you are willing, I've always said this, if you're willing to delete the Twitter app, not even Instagram, you can ignore comments on Instagram, by the way. You just don't have to click into the comment section. You can't really ignore Twitter. If you are willing to delete the Twitter app, Indiana is the best spot for you to go if you are a good player. And Dewanna Bonner is a superb signing. An absolutely superb signing for the Indiana Fever. And a signing that makes so much sense. A signing that puts them over the edge and puts them right into that 1A, 1B in contender category. I put them right up there with the Lynx and the Liberty. I think they might have a better bench than the Liberty. There is a possibility of that. Niara is the best player on either of their benches, but I really rate Grace Berger. Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham now off the bench. Like, that gives the Fever one of the most deadly bench teams in the W. It allows the Fever to go small. It allows the Fever to go big. It allows the Fever to go running. Gives the Fever 2 lockdown defenders on their bench. Yes, Katie Lou Samuelson probably does not see the floor, but she didn't see the floor towards the end last year. And for me, Rhea Marshall would be perfect with that 19th pick. You can get rid of Saxton. You can't cut Christy Wallace because her contract's guaranteed. Honestly, just give away Christy Wallace. There's going to be a team that will take Christy Wallace for nothing. Go to the Valkyries and go, give us your 2027 third round pick. Or give us your third round pick this year. We'll give you Christy Wallace. Christy Wallace will be a fine rotational player for a terrible team. We'll give you Christy Wallace for a third round pick. And we're just going to cut the third round pick. We're just going to get a bunch of late picks in the draft for that one last minimum contract spot. And whoever we take at 19, whoever we take at 20, and whoever we take in the third round, with both picks, four picks between the second and the third round, whoever we take with those picks, you four are fighting it out for that last spot. Maybe Rhea Marshall, Sedona Prince, who's available in the third round. Neepkins, the shooter, maybe. And who knows, if Van Lit's available, maybe Van Lit. Maybe just for the lulz, just for the preseason pictures, you take Hayley Cavender. And it's like, you all fight out for the one spot. And for me, and heck, maybe you don't cut Saxton. If you get rid of Wallace, you don't have to cut Saxton. And I think Saxton is okay. Like, when you've got a team 12 deep and all 12 can play, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can never have too much talent. You've got to back up at the 2 now. You got to back up at the 3. You've got to back up at the 1, Grace Berger, who can also fill in at the 2. So you've literally got, for me, positional versatility is huge because Caitlin Clark can only really play the 1. Play a little bit at the 2. Kelsey Mitchell can only play the 2. Aaliyah Boston can only play the 5. Damir Stantos can kind of play the 4, should only play the 5. Can only play the 4 against slow teams. And then you've got Dewanna Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, who can both play 2, 3, 4. You've got Lexi Hull, who can play 2, 3. You've got Grace Berger, who can play 1, 2, 3. And you've got all this versatility, positional versatility in your team. And you're looking insanely good. This is the perfect signing. Dewanna Bonner is the best possible player the Indiana Fever could have gotten. And as much as people are like, the Fever don't need Bonner, yes, they freaking do. You can never, like, every team needs a 6'4", 15 point per game, good defensive all-star who is a vet, who is a champion, who can, and is positionally versatile. Literally every team in the WNBA could use Dewanna Bonner. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And she's a vet. She will be able to turn off Twitter. obviously, you get Dewanna Bonner. If you can get Dewanna Bonner, you do it 100 times out of 100. This is their splash. Sophie Cunningham getting off Nalissa Smith. This is why they trade the 8th pick. This is the splash. What a freaking signing. Shout out to Kelly Krauskopf because, oh my God, imagine if Lynn Dunn was still in this job. Anyway, I'll see you guys.